Okay, welcome. Tonight we're going to be talking about getting ready for Christmas. This is like part three. We're down to the wire. Uh, we have just a few days left. So let's get started. I got Jessica helping me tonight. And so if you have any questions, please go to the Q&A and ask. And let's get started. I mean, it is Christmas season. We're right next week is Christmas Eve. I want to turn my attention to the reason for the season. I kind of want to put politics on hold for the next couple of days. I want to be out here working with the churches, and I'm really excited about the 7 services that we're having over December the 23rd and the 24th. This is really exciting. We need this. COVID-19 is still out there, but we need to be smart about it. But we really, truly need this. So let's get ready and talk about how we have to be smart. We still have to protect our flock, and we have to watch out for the wolves that are coming into our churches. I had a really great time. We just got back from Virginia. We were at the Coastal Virginia Church. Gary Jimerson put on a really good, I mean, welcoming us. We had a really good time as far as the presentation went. A lot of good people there. But one of the things that we did the threat profiling training, and we talked about the person of interest indicator. And this was just one of these type of things of where we've talked about this before, but not at great length. We've kind of left it alone because we didn't see it happening in churches. But here recently, in fact, we're going to talk about something that happened over the weekend. And thank you, James Mott, for sending this to me, because it was something that we talk about this right here. Now, when these situations happen, what we're discussing in this is when a group of people come into your church that may be disruptive. And so what you want to kind of do is you want to kind of watch for the entourage or the group that is coming in, and maybe who is in charge, because they'll be the one leading the direction of who says what or who says what when, and the different things in that nature. So of course, Sunday we saw this incident that happened in Franklin County church in Ohio, where the sheriff said that one of their sheriff's deputy in Franklin County, Jason Mead, he is a pastor that was involved in a shooting. Now, he wasn't at the church this weekend, but it was disrupted Sunday morning by 5 demonstrators who called Mead a murderer for fatally shooting a 23-year-old Columbus resident. Now, I don't know anything on the case. I heard that it was self-defense. That's all I know about it. But what was interesting about it, and go out and look for these videos because they're out there, Franklin County, Ohio church, and the people showing up that disrupts the service. I feel like they handled it perfectly. Maybe there was a person inside the church that was for the pastor, and maybe that person shouldn't have said there's 2 sides to every story. That just kind of ignites it. That just kind of gets it continuously going. But they called local law enforcement to get them to come out. They asked the guy that was upset about it to step outside. Now, he was fairly cordial, except for just interrupting the church. He didn't scream, he didn't yell. He just wanted to talk to the pastor, and he wanted to know why really they allowed a murderer, what they were called a murderer, to be in the church. The church stood up for him and said, listen, we know him. He's not a murderer. And then that's, like I said, when the discussion got started about there's 2 sides to every story, which just is something that try to keep your congregation out of it. If your congregation continues to add fuel to the fire, then it's just going to get worse. The person that was their safety team, security, whichever one you want to call it, I thought he did really well by just talking to the person and saying, why can't we go outside and talk about this? This is how we train. This is what we talk about doing. But we are seeing people now stepping into churches and disrupting churches. So the video is out there. Go take a look at it. You can learn something from it. Then also on Sunday, we saw at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine up in Morningside Heights in New York, they had a musical for the congregation, but they had it out on the steps of the church. And right after the musical was over with, they had played their last note. A man with a backpack and two pistols climbed up the steps and started shooting. Fortunately, no one was hit. Law enforcement was called. This was a suicide by cop. We could see it completely because as the officers were yelling at the guy to drop his gun, the suspect was yelling back, "Kill me." He refused. He eventually was shot and killed. Now, inside the suspect's backpack, he had a canister of gasoline, a rope, knives, and a Bible. There was a note also found in the pocket of the suspect stating that he had planned to take hostages at the church. It continued that the suspect accusing the United States of robbing Latin America and demanded that the American government, businesses, and banks give aid to help out the region's poor. He also wrote that he would not have hurt the hostages if his demands were met, although he did not expect to return home, according to the report. Of course, this was, as I said, a suicide by cop. There is video out there, and we're going to talk about this a little bit about some of the things that when we do this after action review or after action critique, we see things that should not have happened but they did. And this is something that we really have to get prepared for and get ready for what is coming up, our Christmas services. There are going to be a lot of people in your churches. We know that. We're prepared for it. I hope you're prepared for it. I know we're trying to be safe with the COVID-19. We know that help is on the way, but it is still here. It is still here, and we need to be prepared for it. And however your church is handling the COVID thing, that is up to you. As I said, I've talked to other churches across the country. Some churches are just, they're opening the doors up and letting the people come in. We have sections set up to where you can sit every other seat, or you can sit. We recommend social distancing. If you can't social distance, then we recommend that you wear the mask. We are trying to make sure that we get through this Christmas season without having an outbreak from a church. I'm for sure that when this is all over with, we will hear those that want to complain about this and want to talk bad about this. Well, I'm for sure that we will see them out there. They will be talking about how churches are super spreaders and that we're the reason why there's an increase because of our Christian holiday, our Christian season, our Christmas season. So we'll just have to watch out for that because I'm for sure that those things are going to be out there. Now, I want to tell you that in order to help you with what is going to be going on during these Christmas services, you have free resources out there. We have it out there. We have Sunday morning what to look for, which is basically based on our threat profiling training that we do. It is the U.S. Marine Corps combat profiling that we've taken and we've set it up to where we can talk about it for churches. It is out there. It's free. Go get it. It's there for your taking. And plus, you should review it because it'll help you work on what you should be looking for, the different things that are going to happen. There are wolves in sheep clothing coming into our churches. This guy at this event that happened, I'm for sure that he had telltale signs of what that would make somebody feel uncomfortable around him. I am for sure. He probably paced. He probably touched the guns in his coat jackets. He probably did a whole bunch of different things that would make people nervous or make them feel uneasy, and they should be looking at him. I don't know. I have not seen the full video. I know that there was a lot of video out there. I'm hoping that later on we will see the suspect and see a couple of the different things that he was doing while standing out in the crowd. But the threat profiling or Sunday morning what to look for is just something to help refresh your memory of what you should be paying attention to. December the 29th of last year, we had the West Freeway Church of Christ shooting. And that person came in with a fake beard and a fake wig on, and somebody should have contacted local law enforcement because of it. It was an armed robbery gone bad. We talk about that. We've trained on it. We've looked at it. It's just one of these things that if you have somebody come into your church that is dressed, that makes you feel uncomfortable, somebody needs to go up and talk to this person. We have one in our church right now that this Sunday I'm going to go up and speak to because he comes in with hospital scrubs and a lab coat, and we know who he is. No, he's not a doctor. He's been arrested before. So we're going to have to sit down and chat with him. And it's going to be one of those that we talk about. Listen, we are a church that believes in redemption. We believe we're all sinners, and be we can all be redeemed, but we have to take that first step. And for this person to come in with the scrubs and the lab coat, and he's been coming for a while like that, he's telling everybody he's a doctor. We know that he's not. So it's time that we sit down and have a chat with him. We kind of want to make sure that we had all of our information correct before we went to him and talked to him. We've had a lot of people that have talked to him. We've gotten his name. He's filled out a wanting to be a member card. There's a whole bunch of things that we've already done as far as gathering intelligence on him. But now it's come to the point that we really need to sit down and talk with him because he's really starting to disrupt the church. What is a disruptive attendee? When we talk about this, what is it? It causes your pastor or members angst in the church. If they feel uncomfortable because of this person's presence, that's a disruptive attendee. So please go out, pull down Sunday morning what to look for. It's on our webpage underneath resources. It's a PDF. You can pull it down. You can read it at your leisure. I think it's 10 pages. It's not a lot of material. You won't be bogged down with it, but it's a refresher course. Now, the other thing that we wanted to talk about from looking at the videos, especially the one that happened at the cathedral, we want to talk about positions because one of the things that I noticed in that shooting was that after the shooting happened and the suspect was down, I can't tell you how many police officers ran toward the suspect. Now, I know that they're not in positions at the church, but this is what happens inside churches, especially when we take a look at the West Freeway Church of Christ shooting. Everybody that was armed was inside the worship center. What if this person was not working alone? What if he was working with somebody else when he tried to do the robbery? That means that there's another suspect out there, and people need to stay in their positions. So when you go and download Sunday morning what to look for, go ahead and download Developing a Safety Team because we talk about positions inside there. It is so important. You need to take a look at your church, especially for this coming up holiday season, the Christmas services that you're going to have, no matter how many you're going to have. Like I said, we're having 7 because we know that the people will be coming to it. And we know that we want to give them enough chances to come in because of the COVID, they want to spread out. So we're going to have those. So what do we have out there? What do we have out there? What we're looking at is you need to make sure that the positions are held, maintained. They do not leave their positions unless they're called for. Because if we have an incident and we're talking down here, you know, if we get down here and we're talking about we have an incident in the worship center, I want to make sure that my children's ministry guy stays in the children's ministry. I don't want him coming out. If I have an incident out in the parking lot, I'm going to send one of my G1 or G2 persons out there to help him out, get local law enforcement on the way. We are fortunate now. We have a couple that have come in and started to be our dispatchers. So we're really excited about that. You should have a hardline telephone to where people can call local law enforcement if they need to. But we need to make sure that we're covering these positions. We cannot be moving around. We had an incident where we had a lady that passed out right here in front of our worship center one time. Let me clear this real quick. We had a lady that went down right here right in front of our worship center. We had 20 people there working with her. We had 20 people there that, we had medics, we had all the different people, we had others that were calling family members, all these different things like that. We even had our off-duty officers in there that were radioing and talking to the paramedics that were on their way. And I catch one of my members from the worship center coming out, and I asked him, what was he doing there? And he says, well, I'm here to direct traffic. No, get back inside the worship center. We need to make sure that in case anything happens, we're still covering our positions. You cannot leave your positions unless you're called. And this is something you need to work on. This is something you need to talk with your team members. You need to make sure that you're perfectly clear on what is going on here and that you have these people setting these positions. Because with the crowds that are going to be coming in, you need to make sure that you have a rover out in your parking lot. If you have enough people, have 2 rovers out there, one on foot. And if you have a golf cart, use one on the golf cart. but you have to have these rovers out here checking your driveways, checking the cars, because listen, people know that people are going to be shopping before they come to your Christmas services. So there's going to be presents there. So it's really sad if somebody goes out to their car after they've been to your worship center and found out that their presents have been stolen because somebody that really isn't, following God's, love and faith and the different things like we're talking about here, steals your gifts. So, as I said, make sure that you have those rovers are important out there also. All right. We're planning for Christmas. We are down to the wire. You should have already been doing these things. These things should have already been talked about. We've had some training. We've gone around and done some training, but you start by planning now, getting all your dates. I know my dates and times. I have a schedule put out for my safety team that they can fill it out and that I can see when they're going to be there, when I'm going to be a little bit short in case I have to call people in, and the different setups that we have ready to go. We have met with the staff and the leaders, and we've talked about this. We've talked about this at length of what is going to be going on. Our volunteers and our staff, we've been training them. This guy that came in with the overcoat, the lab coat on, has been an awakening for the volunteers and the staff. We've been able to do a lot of training on it because of the situation that has happened. And so people are out here now talking about it, and they're really starting to watch for the anomalies that we need to be looking for and making sure that when we see one, we address it. We're going to have a lot of visitors. You're going to have a lot of visitors on your campus, but you can tell who they are when they're coming in the doors. You should be able to. You should be able to tell those that want to come and worship and those that don't. You've been doing this long enough. Most of y'all that I'm talking to have been doing this for a while. So you know what is happening out here. You're paying attention. You know this stuff. You may need a refresher course. That's why you go out and grab those 2 references that we talked about. But you get ready because it's coming. Now, network with other churches. I talk about this all the time. We're going to be doing a lot of networking in 2021. But if you have something that you think needs to be passed on to other churches, this guy that came in with the lab coat, I talked to another church that has had him in their church before, causing problems. So he goes from church to church. So as soon as we get a picture of him, we're going to post it out to the other churches because I'm really not for sure what's going to happen after this weekend. He may leave. He may come in regular clothes. He may try. I would love to see that happen. But we kind of know his past. We've seen his past, and he's kind of one of these people that I don't think, hey, God works miracles, and I hope it happens, but I'll be praying for him. Include your local law enforcement. Can't say that enough. Make sure that you include your local law enforcement with this. Let them know if you're having multiple services. See if you can get an off-duty officer. This is going to be an issue because there's a lot of churches out here that are having a lot of functions, a lot of services. We already see that we're going to be short on 1 or 2 of our services, so we're preparing for that right now. Network. Say this all the time. Please network. Get out here and talk to your neighboring churches. If they're having issues, if you're having issues, make sure you tell them. And once you open up that door, you're probably going to get a response from them. So get out here and network. We're going to be doing a lot of that. We're going to kick it off here soon in 2021. We're really excited about it because the guy that's in this picture is going to be going around and talking with me, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Once again, have local law enforcement on campus if possible. It's just going to be one of those things of where we're seeing they're filling up fast. So if you can, get them out there. If you have not put in a request for it right now, you're probably not going to be able to get some. But if you have off-duty police officers, just go and talk to them about it. Just let them know that you're depending upon them during this time when there's going to be a lot of people inside your worship centers, and we need to be prepared. So please go out, call me between now and Christmas. If you have questions or anything like that, reach out to me, give me a call, and let's work together. So I know I've kind of gone through this a little fast. I'm trying to be respectful for your time. So I'm going to open it up for any questions that you may have. Jess, are there any questions out there?
No questions, but James Shoemaker said that the backpack at St. John should have been a clue for people there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like I said, I'm for sure that there were red flags that were going on that somebody should have seen, but I haven't seen all the video. I'm for sure there's going to be a lot of video that shows up because I know that the production was recorded. So during that time frame, I'm for sure that we'll see this suspect because he had a very significant face mask, very distinguishable face mask. So we should be able to see him in the crowd as he's walking around. Anybody have anything else? Any other questions? All right, because if you don't, I'm going to free you up. I'm going to get started here. I do want to tell you that we will not be having a webinar next week or the 31st, which is, of course, New Year's Eve. So please don't leave yet. I have something very important that I want to discuss, I want to talk about, but pre-order today. We're moving right along. We were hoping that we would have this ready for Christmas. It doesn't look like it, but it looks like we're going to have it ready in January. So please pre-order. $25 for donation for the paperback copy, and of course $30 for the hardback copy. Hard copy, yeah. Okay, now we're starting something here. Really, this is kind of new, and we're trying to give everybody an opportunity to get into this and to be able to access our live online training, our online training, our library that we have out there that you can share. You can look at it at any time at your convenience, share with your team. Zoom, we're going to have a Zoom member meeting beginning in 2021. What we're talking about that every third Thursday, we're going to open up a Zoom meeting so that if you have questions or you want to talk to people that we've been working with, this is going to be networking, then we want you to come out. If you have people that have been showing up at your church that have caused you concern, then what we want you to do is get me a picture of that person or send that information over to me. We'll give you time to talk. But right now, what we're doing is we're doing this at 50% off. Plus, you're also going to get one ticket to our annual church safety conference, which is $75. Subscribe by Thursday, December the 31st. You can get it at $12.50 a month, and that's permanently. We will not raise your price on it. What we're talking about, the first one is going to be January 21st in 2021. This is a members only. This is going to be a Zoom network meeting. In other words, you'll be able to talk about anything that you want to that is coming up in your church. You can get information from other churches that may be going through the same thing, maybe looking at the same person. We've seen this happen over and over and over again. We want to get out here and do face-to-face contact. So we're looking forward to it. It's the third Thursday of each month at 8:00 p.m. And this is for members only. And if my safety team is out there, you're part of this. So I'm just letting you know that right now. Facebook Live on Sunday nights at 8:00. We always put those out there. We will do one this weekend just because we're doing a follow-up of the Christmas season. I always worry about a shooting happen during Christmas. We've already had this one now. This is the Christmas season that we're in. This was a Christmas event that happened in New York. So we're watching to see if we run into anything else or we have any other disturbances. There's a lot of stuff going on out here right now, a lot of stuff. And we're going to be bringing it to you. We'll be talking about it on Sunday night, something that has just come up. Like I said, you have these free resources. You have these free resources that you can get out here, putting together a safety plan, developing a safety team, carrying weapons in church, and Sunday morning what to look for. So these are free. Go out and pull them down. Like I said, if it's been a while since you've read the Sunday morning, or it's been a while since you've been to one of our threat profiling classes, I would recommend that you go out and read that one. If you know a church, we're looking for churches that want to have a membership. It's $125 a month. That includes training, a full 2 4-hour trainings or a full day of training that we will do. This also includes the laser shot. We've been doing a lot with the laser shot here lately, and people are just amazed at what they learn from doing the shoot, don't shoot scenarios. We do have our YouTube page where we're putting a lot of our stuff out there. We also have our church safety Facebook page that is out there that you can get a lot of information. Jessica has taken over the posting of the live events that we're seeing out here or our Google alerts. Okay. Also doing the world through a Christian lens. We're talking true Christian talk. If you can come out on Thursday afternoon, I do these with Kevin Haggerty there at 11 o'clock. Also, February the 11th and the 13th, we're going to do one at our church here at Generations Christian Church, and then we're going to do another one over at Polk County, Scott Lake Baptist Church. We're going to have Alan Wilkett come out. He is the human trafficking expert. He's going to be talking with us about what is going on in the churches. We're really excited to have him come out. This is a free event. So please, please, please mark your calendar. Go out to our events, page and sign up and be ready, because this is going to be some really good training that we're having here. I talked about this last week. I kind of wanted to say it again today because on my Facebook page it popped up. Today was Ron Mark's birthday. He passed away December the 1st, 2020. He was at Faith Baptist Church. He was a great guy. He helped us out with the laser shot training that we did. Just a fantastic guy. He is greatly missed. I had an opportunity to talk to Kevin McCon, who's standing, the bald-headed gentleman standing behind him. He was a good friend of his. And Kevin just reassured me that we know where Ron is tonight. And so he's going to be celebrating. We're going to be celebrating next week. All right. I'm going to leave you with this. This is something that is near and dear to me, because when I found out about this, I just think that it's something that I want to kind of help with the season. Thursday, December the 9th, 1965, over 15 million households watched Charles M. Schulz, Charlie Brown Christmas. Now, something you might not know, you might not know this, but when they were looking at doing this, putting it out there, the producers at CBS told Schulz that he had to leave out the Linus portion of it where he read Luke chapter 2. And Charles Schulz looked at him and said, then we ain't doing it. And so they left it in there. Now, I want you to go out. It's out there on YouTube. I want you to go out and I want you to look at it. I want you to watch it, because there's something there that I had never seen before until I was watching it one time and I caught it. And then I went out and did some research on it. But you know how Linus always had his security blanket. But yet during the reading of the scripture, when the angel said, do not be afraid, Linus dropped his security blanket. Do not be afraid. So now I'm going to read Luke chapter 2. It says, now there were in the same country shepherds living out in the fields, keeping watch over their flock by night. And behold, an angel of the Lord stood before them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them. And they were greatly afraid. Then the angel said to them, do not be afraid, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which will be to all people. For there is born to you this day in the city of David a Savior, who is the Christ the Lord. And this will be the sign to you. You will find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in the manger. And suddenly there with the angel, a multitude of heavenly hosts, praising God and saying, glory to God in the highest, and peace on earth, goodwill toward men. All y'all that are out here, you mean an awful lot to Wendy, Jessica, and I. We want to thank you for being our supporters out there. It means so much to us every time that you are out there. And we just want you to know that y'all mean the world to us. And we want you to have a Merry Christmas. Please put politics on hold for a couple of days. Get your mind right. Understand what this is, the reason for this season, and let's just celebrate Christ's birth. So have a Merry Christmas out there. Have a Happy New Year. Jessica, do we have anything else?
James Shoemaker asked when the Charlie Brown Christmas special was.
It was in 1965. You can find it on December The 9th, I believe it was 1965. You can find it out on YouTube. You can go out there and look for it. What else?
No more questions.
Okay. All right. I want to thank you all for coming out. Have a Merry Christmas and a safe New Year, and we'll see you. Oh, and Jessica just reminded me we will not be doing a Facebook Live this weekend because I'm going away with the family over to Orlando. We're going to get away for a couple of days. So y'all be safe, and we'll talk to y'all real soon. God bless you. God bless this country, and I'll see you in 2021.